Yeah, I got somebody named Mosley. He looked like he. Man, you come in, he's
Assalamu
gone.
alaikum.
Hey, what's up, brother? How you doing?
One second. Let me just go one place. Hey, okay, now it's quieter. Assalamu alaikum. I mean, what's your problem with Islam, brother?
What's my problem with
What's
Islam?
wrong?
I don't believe
Yeah.
it. I don't
What's wrong
believe in
with
Islam. I read the books and somehow it tell me something different than what it says. So that's why I got the prompt up. If you can prove Muhammad in the Torah and the Injil.
Yeah, but Muhammad said that
Uh-huh.
all the previous books actually are not accurate, and they were actually,
Muhammad
I mean,
ever
they
read
were
any
frauded.
Muhammad ever read any book?
No, Muhammad doesn't read.
Oh,
Doesn't
so
read.
how you
Doesn't
gonna
know.
know all the other books got problems in it if Muhammad never read? According to the Muslim
Be-
history. Does that make sense?
Well, because the miracle of Allah, the
Uh-huh.
miracle of Allah,
Uh-huh.
is Muhammad was given a divine knowledge, and
Mm-hmm.
this was actually, how can you say, transmitted by angel Gabriel,
Muhammad
and I
was
guess
given
he
miracles. I thought Allah said he didn't give Muhammad no miracles. They asked Muhammad to produce miracles and he never did. He said he just a warner.
but the Quran is a miracle.
But
It's a
that's what the
miracle book.
Quran say.
Quran.
I didn't say anything different from what the Quran says, right?
No, but the Quran, the book itself is a miracle. It's
The
one of the
book is a
miracle of
miracle.
Muhammad. Is
Well, they say
yeah.
the book can't be a miracle because they say the Quran is the speech of Allah. So maybe I don't know how Allah's speech gonna be a miracle, but I know it. I know probably later on it says that when resurrection happened, that the Quran
Yeah.
gonna turn to a man and come and testify before you Muslims.
Yeah.
That's a hadith.
Yeah, but who wrote the? Yeah, but who wrote the Quran? If you know, it's Allah. Allah. Quran
Allah
is
wrote the Quran.
entirely.
Allah got fingers and
I mean,
hands that he write down the Quran.
but he had
Uh,
Gabriel and Muhammad. It was
mhm.
he gave the messages to Gabriel, and Gabriel
Oh, he
revealed
gave
it
them
to
messages. I
Muhammad.
want to know because you said Allah wrote down the Quran. I for a minute there, I like those something song funny when you say that. If you say he told Jibril and Jibril come tell Muhammad, I say okay, that's recitation. I'll take that. So
Yeah, but Muhammad. I mean, I'm sorry. Allah does have a hand. It's mentioned in the Quran.
yeah, I
Yadullah. I mean,
know.
the
Chapter
hand Allah.
38
Yeah,
and verse 75, it say Allah got hands.
yeah.
But some Sunni,
He
maybe
has
you
hand.
Shia or something, because some Sunni they don't say that. A lot of Sunnis, they don't say
Yeah.
Allah got hands, man. I don't know what's the problem. It's like, if Allah say he got hands in chapter 38 and verse 75, what is me to not believe that he ain't got hands? If he say so, right? And what it is, even if the hands don't look like human hands, because them Sunni always say Allah ain't got no hands because he not human. But like, okay. But if you made in the image of Allah, then you gonna have hands like Allah, right?
Yeah, we are actually in the image of Allah.
I
I mean,
know.
Allah Himself, He said that He created that in His own image. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like Himself, He has leg. I mean, He has a leg.
You're the
He
one of
has
the
hands.
first Muslim ever
Yeah,
say that, and that's good.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Allah. I mean, what
Mm.
Allah did. I mean, Allah cannot speak directly. He will speak directly when
Mm-hmm.
after in what is called after Judgment Day. We will talk to Him
You will talk
because
to. I thought
Allah. If
Allah, but how you mean Allah not going to talk to nobody? That don't sound right to me. In your Quran, it say Allah talk to Musa.
I don't think he speak to him directly. I think what he did,
Mm.
he gave him what's known
Mm.
as the Torah, the tablets. He gave him the tablets, and I don't think
No, that
Allah
well,
give it.
it
He
says it
was.
give him. It says it give him the tablet. We don't know how Allah gave Musa the tablet. If he just sent it down and it floated down, or Allah do something, I don't know. But here's what I'm saying: in chapter 27, I believe, and verse 9 to 10, Allah talking to Musa from the bush, not so from the fire.
Well, these are just tales. Sometimes they're just tales.
So
I
you don't
think. I
believe
mean,
Allah when He said He was talking to Musa? You feel like those stories are like
no, he did
made up
speak to
children
Musa,
stuff?
but I don't. Yeah, yeah, but the Bush story, that's actually that's Christian and Jewish who believes in that, but we
It's
don't
a,
have the Bush.
but if it's Christian
The
and Jewish,
talking
what it
Bush.
doing in the Quran?
Well, you remember because when Allah
Mhm.
when because the Jewish and the Christian, they were
Mhm.
frauding and they were falsifying their religion,
So they
and then
falsified the
Allah
story
was,
about Musa talking to Allah.
yes, they did that, and
So
that's why
Allah
Allah
never talked.
sent
So Allah
Muhammad.
never talked to Musa from the bush, from the fire.
Well, the Bush story, that's
Well,
biblical
it
sources. That's
no, they no,
biblical.
bro.
That's not in this.
That's not no biblical story. That in the Quran, bro. If I'm not mistaken, let me pull it up. I'll show you. If I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I've heard it before. I've heard it, but I
Well,
only hear it
well, then you should know
in
that I ain't
Christian
lying,
channel.
right? I think it's chapter
No.
27.
Yeah, I mean,
But
I
then you
don't
tell me it's
I
a
don't want to
Nancy
speak.
story from the Bible, so that's why I want to figure it out. Like if I remember the story incorrect, right? Let me just see if I got the correct verse, because sometimes I remember them incorrect. Hold up. No, this is about Musa, but not this one. This is 8. Let me just see. Hold up. Yeah. Chapter 8, chapter 27 and verse 8. And this is what it says. Chapter 7 says, and behold, Musa said to his family, I perceive a fire. Soon I will bring you from there some information, or I will bring a burning band to the light of our fuel, that you may warn yourself. And it says, when he came to the fire, a voice was heard. Blessed are those in the fire and those around, and glory to Allah and the Lord of the worlds. O Musa, verily I am Allah, the exalted in might, the wise. So in this Allah talking here?
Yeah, but I guess maybe
So
it's
this
misunderstood. Is because
mm-hmm,
maybe because
mm-hmm.
people it's hard to understand sometimes the Quran, because
Okay.
sometimes people take it
But
out of
what's hard about the
context and
story?
we.
What's hard about the story about Allah talking to Musa from the bush, from the tree?
But
Huh?
how can he talk to Musa? He didn't talk to Muhammad directly, and Muhammad was actually his final prophet, and he was actually his favorite
Well,
messenger.
who
I mean,
say
Muhammad was actually.
Muhammad was favorite? I don't know. I think Jesus. I think Isa may be the favorite. But literally here, look, verse 9. It says,
Mhm.
"O Musa, verily I am Allah." Who's speaking
Okay,
there?
well
Allah
then maybe,
speaking.
yeah.
Is Allah speaking? So, and he in the fire. So when you say there's a Christian and a Jewish story, I literally tell you it's in the Quran.
Okay,
So
yeah, but
does Allah talk to people direct now?
okay.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question because I heard you earlier. Okay, when
Mm-hmm.
Muslim invite you to come and pray with them Jumu'ah, I mean, why do you decline the invitation of Jumu'ah? I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
really, I mean, the Jumu'ah Salat is, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, if you look at the social aspect of it,
Right.
Muslim, they get together, you meet people. I mean, it's good for the soul. It's good
No,
also,
because
it's good
back in
for.
the day when I was a kid, they try to indoctrinate me. I work for a Muslim company and they try to indoctrinate me, they try to bring me the supervisor was being slick. He always come pick me up Friday. We go visit the projects and during that time he wanna go Juma. Like one time he maybe expect me to say I'm gonna come with him.
Yeah,
Do you know the
yeah.
history of Salah? Huh?
Yeah, I know the history of Salah. Is Salah
Okay.
ul Mi'raj, when the Prophet
No,
Muhammad
no, no.
sallallahu alayhi.
The history of how you pray. Nobody prayed like no Muslim
Uh,
before. So why he want me go
uh,
Juma with him? Even Friday prayer was something that Muhammad saw the Jews doing and they copied it.
yeah, what? No, it's not copied. Actually,
They literally
the
copied. They
because
went to Medina. There's no place in Mecca when they ever had no Juma, bro.
yeah, but all the Muslims,
Uh-huh.
because all religion are Islam. Because
All
like in
religion
Islam,
are Islam. So Christians are
yeah.
polytheists is Islam too. Everybody are Muslim. So you can be a
Well,
pagan and be Muslim. I don't
there's no
know.
conversion. Okay, brother. There's no conversion in Islam.
There's no
Most people, when
conversion.
you
Bro, I
no,
literally
if you
read
embrace
Surah El
this.
Toba. Surah El Toba tell me when Muhammad say in this, where Allah say, this day have I given you Islam and this day have I perfected your religion and given you Islam. Man, what you tell me about Islam come
اليوم
after?
أكملت لكم دينكم. Yes, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's why we don't use the term convert in Islam. We use revert, and people. I
Revert.
mean, regardless what
How you
religion you
gonna be
are, brother.
Muslim when the religion started with Muhammad?
What? Because no, the first Muslim is actually Abraham, Ibrahim al-Khalil. He was the first Muslim. It's in the Quran. Or
Abraham wasn't no Muslim.
Ibrahim was.
Abraham call people Muslim. That's what the Quran say. He called himself Muslim.
Yeah, Quran.
Okay, all
Yeah, he
right. If
called
he called
himself
himself
Muslim. It's in
Muslim,
the
all right,
Quran.
okay. So he named
Yeah.
Muslim. So Adam was no Muslim, right?
Adam also was a Muslim. Yeah.
But if you now tell me Abraham the first Muslim, how Adam gonna be one when Abraham the first one? Kind of a contradiction.
Yeah, but
there, right?
Adam also is a Muslim. Everybody is a Muslim. Everybody.
What criteria makes
Muslim?
Okay, what criteria make you a Muslim?
In the Dina عند Allah al-Islam. The religion to Allah is Islam. Regardless if you're born in the Amazon jungle or on the peak of the Himalaya, you are a Muslim. I mean,
so what makes you a Muslim?
A Muslim is the belief of the first one. You have to believe in Allah is one, and there's nobody else around.
So if you're a polytheist and you believe, in Baal, so how that gonna make you a Muslim? You don't believe in one God. In fact, the pagans that were before Muhammad, they had 360 idols inside of the Kaaba. So they're Muslim too. All them Qurayshi people who was worshiping all them idols.
What happened? The Quraysh, they used to be Muslim, and then what happened? They said according to Muhammad that back then the people unalived the Jewish themselves. He blames the Jewish for that. He said that Jewish unalived all the prophet because they said and every time a prophet will come, the Jewish people would unalive him, and then suddenly there was nobody.
What's the Jewish people got to do with people in Mecca? I don't understand. There was no Jews in Mecca. There was only Qurayshi people in Mecca. I don't know what you're telling me.
Well,
Muhammad never met Jews and Christians until he went to Medina. In Mecca, there were only Qurayshi tribe and Hashem and the rest of them.
Yeah, it's maybe they were probably traders or something, but he knew. Because when he was preaching in Mecca, he was actually preaching. He was preaching to the Jewish, but the Jewish.
There ain't no Jews in Mecca, bro. That's what I'm trying to tell you. No Jew not gonna be in Mecca worshiping no Kaaba. It's literally what the tribes, the pagan tribes that were there. That's where Muhammad come from. It's only when he went to Medina he knew about Jews and Christians. Yeah. So I'm not trying to just win the argument. I'm literally telling you, I can't find no record.
I'm just trying. We're just trying to engage.
Yeah, I know, probably trying to cope. Yeah. But here's what I'm telling you, bro. So here's what I'm saying. So you tell me that everybody are Muslim. So I ask you if the polytheists are Muslim, then you tell me no. For a time they were, and then they change. But so if you're a Muslim, you always a Muslim. You tell me you don't come out of being a Muslim, right? So I don't know what you're trying to tell me now.
Well, even if you are we call mushrik polytheist, you are still a Muslim. I mean, if you come back, if you decide just to renounce your polytheism, then you are what's called a revert. I mean, everybody comes back to Islam.
A revert.
I mean, and yeah.
So if you born into a polytheist tribe and you polytheist and you pagan, ain't you pagan too? How you gonna be Muslim when all the people making pagan kids?
I don't know. They always say Allah knows best.
That's what every Muslim tell me when I ask them difficult questions and they can't answer. They always tell me, "Hey, Allah knows best."
Yeah, but we're not because I'm not supposed to answer because in the rule in the Quran, I mean, I'm not supposed to ask questions. I mean, it's just like
you're not supposed to ask questions. Why are you not supposed to ask questions? Why?
Because we are. That's what's no mu'mineen. Mu'mineen, we are believers. We have to believe and just take it the way it is.
Well, it's a good thing you said that. It's a good thing you said you mu'mineen because I always believe that when people say, "Well, everybody are Muslim," I'm like, okay, if you say that, but that don't mean that you're a believer, right? Anybody, as you saying, could be Muslim without even believing in Allah, right?
Islam is okay. In Islam, it says like this: Aslim taslam. you have it's surrender and submission. There's no
Okay.
question asked. We have to be Muslim.
Mm-hmm.
But in the meantime, there is certain rules, you know. So it's like this. There's certain rules. I mean, the rules. I mean, for example, there's because Allah addressed us also as mu'mineen. There's sometimes people they have what do you call misunderstanding, like maybe in salat or maybe in Ramadan or maybe in something. But that's very minor. That also can be
That's
fixed by.
minor. I thought that was like a major thing because I always say that all them thing was invented. When I read the history about about Islam, I realized that all them stuff about Ramadan and Hajj, they were basically came later on. They invented. Nobody as a Muslim did Hajj or fasted in the month of Ramadan, right? So that's why when you tell me you're Muslim, I'm like something ain't right there. Because for you to be mu'mineen and be a believer, you gotta obey the 5 pillars of Islam, right?
Yeah, you have because this is that's what's it's a mandate. I guess we have, for example, we are mandated or obligated. كتب عليكم الصيام. We have to fast Ramadan, and if people refuse to fast, I mean, yes, there will be some kind of consequences. Maybe, for example, they have to. For example, if I decide just to eat, just because I feel like I want to eat, and I for no reason, if I'm not sick, then I will have to feed 60 or
Who came up
64
with them
people.
rules? Who came up with them rules to do that?
Allah, he did.
Allah came up. I didn't see Allah saying none of them things, in the Quran.
Well, Allah, I mean, you know, it's not
I
the
know.
Quran.
I know
Because
Muhammad.
hadith, for example,
Muhammad is the
it's
one.
hadith.
Muhammad is the one who make up them stuff and say you gotta feed people, right?
Yeah, but okay. In Quran it says, "ما ينطق عن الهوى إلا وحي." Everything the Prophet says is actually a revelation. I mean, technically, hadith, like the hadith, it is actually a revelation. Because, for example, if we can't find, if we have a verse and you and I, we have, like we Muslim, we have a disagreement about it, or we don't. Maybe we have to resort to the hadith.
Okay.
And if the hadith, we don't find it the hadith, then we can go to fiqh. Fiqh, we can go to sheikh or something, and the sheikh will explain it to us better.
But I always thought they say
Islam
that I always thought they say that the Quran was clear, and then in some verses they tell me that it is unclear. Sometimes I'm confused too as well.
Yeah, it is clear. It says in chapter 26, بِلِسَانٍ عَرَبِيٍّ مُبِينٍ, means in an Arabic tongue. But because if you don't speak Arabic, maybe sometimes your Islam can be a little bit how was it downgraded? I mean, like maybe or something. It's very hard for non-Arab to understand.
So how come everybody gonna be Muslim and Allah give His revelation, right, to Jibril to recite, and it in a language that hardly anybody everybody find it difficult to understand?
Well, people should learn Arabic. I mean, this is the mistake the Muslim Ummah has done. We should have actually enforced the teaching and the learning of Arabic language, because I think today that now the Muslim country are very powerful. I think we should.
You feel it very powerful?
Like some,
for real? Okay.
Yeah, Islam is. I mean, we are very. I mean, Arab countries and Muslim.
Man, I see people partying.
Allah,
I see people living in Saudi Arabia now and them partying and stuff. I don't know all them thing was haram. I thought them. Sorry, was halal. I thought them thing haram.
Well, we cannot supposed to. Well, that's exception, because sometimes people they want to really to. You can't just put too much pressure on them, because if you put too much pressure on people, they will probably explode. And also, these are young people, and sometimes we have to pray for them, and we have to pray.
Okay.
You know, hopefully, but I mean, we know it's just an infatuation. It's just like something that comes.
But
and goes.
I wanted to come back to the point.
Later,
I wanted to come back to the point that you raised about the about being mu'mineen, because I always tell and I'm glad you speak Arabic, right? Because you know the verse.
Yeah.
And I often tell the Muslim, they always come just like you say and say everybody Muslim, right? And then when I read that verse that talk about, hey, you say you believe, but you don't, because faith has not entered into your heart. So don't say, you are not a believer. So only say that you believe, right? Not that you're mu'min. You know the verse, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's chapter 49 and verse 14, right? So how it
Yeah,
is,
it just I don't
so there's a
remember.
criteria that I always say that when Muslims say everybody Muslim, right? I'm like, okay, all right, Allah say, okay, you can say that, but you not really know Muslim, right? Because you never
Well,
believe, right? If you don't believe and if you don't practice, then you not know Muslim. So how come you can call everybody Muslim?
everybody has to be Muslim. This is no exception to the
Everybody
rule.
has to
This
be
is
Muslim,
the
but I never,
everybody,
if
the
I'm a
entire
Muslim, right?
the whole world.
Here's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If I'm a Muslim, right? First of all, being Muslim involved them 5 pillars that I always say that were basically 4 of them were basically invented by Muhammad. So here's what I'm going to say. So we know that Hajj never existed. Never existed before until Muhammad, right? When they put him out of Medina, and then they have Hajj going back to the Kaaba, right? And then secondly, we know Ramadan, that only happened when he went to Medina. That was never happened before. Muhammad used to fast, but he used to fast based on what the polytheists and them fast, right? And then when he went to Medina, he saw the Jews fasting, and then he said, okay, I'm going to have, instead of 3 days, I'm going to do a month. So them two never existed. And then there's zakah. I know for a fact that Muhammad invented zakah. There's no way anybody ever paid zakah, although the Quran says so. And then
Yeah, but it's,
the fourth
because-
one is the fourth one is salah. Everybody pray like Muhammad, right? Nobody prayed like no Muslim before. Nobody did wudu. Nobody put their face to no qibla, right, in the direction of Mecca before. Nobody prayed like that up until only when Muhammad came.
Well, he said it himself. He says, "Sallu kama ra'aytuni usalli." Pray like the way I pray. We're not supposed to question. We're not.
Why are you not supposed to
When
question?
Muhammad, well, because you cannot question the prophet because we're not supposed to. This is it. I mean,
But
but
why-
the prophet is always right.
The prophet is who make the prophet always right.
Allah
Allah
is
make
always
the
right.
prophet always. How did Allah?
Yeah.
How is it possible that Allah gonna make the a human always right when Allah is supposed to be the one who's supposed to be always right? I don't know who gave Muhammad that authority.
Because he's the final prophet. He's called also known as
He's the
Khatimul
final
Anbiya,
prophet?
the seal of all the prophets.
You
Yeah,
see,
he's the final prophet.
Yeah, here's the thing. There's verses that infer that Muhammad is the final prophet, but in the verse it never calls him a prophet. That's what they try to imply about that word there when it says that I forgot the name of the word where it says seal. I know that word can be
It is
interpreted.
seal, yeah.
Well, what's the other interpretation? You speak Arabic. What's the other interpretation for the word?
When they say Khatimul Anbiya, like the guy wrote in here,
Uh-huh.
seal of all prophet, that's
Yeah.
okay. If that's proper. But
Right.
if you will have to use a colloquial word, like just to simplify, it means he's the last of all prophet, or the final prophet, or like he said himself, there will never be a prophet after Muhammad. I mean, we've been since Muhammad.
No,
died,
but what's action? What's the
1004.
interpretation of the word? The word got more than one meaning, right?
Well, Arabic is not as advanced as English because English is a language that actually evolves a lot. But Arabic, I mean, in a way, it's limited. Actually, when it comes to Islamic, what's called classical Arabic,
Right.
we cannot let it expand because if we expand it, it could actually corrupt.
No, but I'm saying the word literally in the
the-
text,
yeah.
in that particular word, I can always go find it, but I know for a fact that that word has more than one meaning. In Arabic, one word can have many meanings. Even if you use the
not in
trilateral. Not in Arabic? Okay.
No, Arabic is because Arabic is a clear language. It's very clear.
It's
You
very
don't need
clear.
too many
If I
words
move,
to
if I
explain.
move one of them dots, one of them 3 diacritical marks above a letter, what does it do? If I move one of the dots, those 3 dots,
Yeah.
right? So if I move one of them dots, does it change the entire word?
Not really, because before when the Quran was actually revealed and was documented, what they call written, it was written without what do you call this? he didn't have any accent or any points or any dot or anything, and
Okay.
people knew it because I don't think you need the Quran, for example. It doesn't even need to be written
Okay.
anyway. I
All right.
mean, people knows it by heart. I mean, you just yeah.
I got no
But
problem. I'll take whatever you say, but I've heard one person tell me that, hey, that particular word, it has another meaning. But let's say I let that slip, right? But my point has always been that historically, all of the obligations that you have to do, and you saying that how Muhammad correct based on everything that he said, that Allah tell him that he got authority to make these adjudications. And I'm like, well, I thought Allah is the one that always is the one who in charge, not Muhammad. But he can make a mistake and say something incorrect, right?
well, Allah when he sent Muhammad, I mean
No,
the
but do you
world at
believe
that
that?
time
Do you
was
believe that Muhammad can make a mistake? Because you say he
yeah,
always
he can
right,
make a
right?
mistake.
Well, right.
He can make a mistake, but not because sometimes Allah wanted to actually to test him. For example, he was tested. Like there was a time when he received the wrong revelation.
Yeah, I know.
It's
Surah Al Najm, right?
because
53.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
42. What is it? 42,
Mhm,
52, right? But he was reciting Surah Al Najm
mhm,
53:19. All right. And he recited
mhm.
the wrong thing. It says that Shaitan, right, threw, right, a verse that Allah didn't reveal to him, but he spoke it. So I'm saying that's not a mistake. That's almost shirk. But here's the problem behind the story. Most Muslims don't acknowledge the story. They always say that, oh, it's a fabrication, it's made up. Although there's a verse in the Quran that literally says that Allah abrogated what he said. So that's why I asked you if
Yeah,
Muhammad can
because
make a
yeah, yeah.
mistake. Right?
Yeah, it does. It does. It's because when Muhammad the first the early days, he had to he had to thread very carefully. This we call al mujadala. He said in the Quran, "Jadilu billati hiya ahsan."
No, but
You
this
just
is.
when if you're gonna have.
Go
Hmm?
ahead, make your point. But I just want to respond. Go ahead.
It's because at that time the Qurayshi they lived in a state of ignorance, as known as al jahiliyyah, and the Prophet had actually to approach. And at first, all he asked them is to read. This is why the first revelation of the Quran is read, because you can't just go full blast on people. Sometimes when you start a conversation you have, and Muhammad was actually he knows what he was doing, but there was, I mean, like as a human as he was, Allah tested him. It's called al-imtihan. He tested him, and Muhammad, yes, he made a mistake, but in the meantime it got corrected. But at the end, when he before he died, he said al-yawma atmamtu lakum dinakum, means this is it, I have completed your religion. جعلت الإسلام دينا, means this is it.
I
And
thought that was
now
Allah
the
saying that.
Quran is
I thought it was Allah saying.
Allah said that. Yeah, Allah said that. He
Okay,
said
I
it to
didn't know
Muhammad to
Muhammad
make
was saying
sure.
that. Okay. All right.
No, Muhammad said it. What? Because Allah, because I mean,
No,
he
I
said,
thought
because remember,
Allah
it
is
was
the
not
one
Muhammad who.
who. So who were talking there? I never know Allah. I never know Muhammad speaking the Quran. When it says
No, he doesn't speak. Muhammad never spoke in
this
the
day have
Quran.
I perfected your religion for you. I thought it's Allah saying that. I don't know
Yeah,
if
Allah has been that.
okay, all right.
Even Hadith is the word of Allah. Even Hadith is the word of Allah, because every time Muhammad speaks, it's Allah speaking, because it's we
But
have
how
a
come
verse.
the
La
hadith gonna
yaltaqahu,
be the
everything.
how come the hadith gonna be the word of Allah when some of them hadith daif? So who gonna decide which one
Yeah,
incorrect or which one Hassan or which one Sahih? So there's gonna be a problem with that. If
because
you
that's
say
why we have scholars. That's why
well
we have
well people
scholars. We have
mostly
the
say that
Islamic scholars.
the hadith is the word of Muhammad, not the word of Allah. Them Sunni gonna throw you off the cliff if you say that, bro. I don't know. But here's what I'm asking you, right? You see, based on what you just told me about Surah Al-Najm, because when you say that it was early, right? Surah Al-Najm is like the 22nd surah in the order of Revelation. You see, the problem is that Muhammad, when after he come back from, some of them people come back from Abyssinia, if I'm not mistaken, he recite these things and he wanted to get new converts. And if I read the story in terms of the hadith, it says that not only him prostrated, that's what I'm saying, this is not a mistake, this is a blatant shirk sin, because he not only prostrated, Not only him, all the companions and all the Qurayshi. And in fact, the word went out that, hey, Muhammad has embraced our religion too. He has bowed to the exalted cranes. Now, when I say that, a lot of people, all Muslims, they get mad at me and they say, but bro, I'm literally reading your hadith scholars who recorded this. This is not me trying to be facetious about anything. It literally says that this is what happened. That's why you have Surah 22:52, right? So when people tell me that Muhammad didn't make mistake or he didn't sin, I tell them they lie. 'Cause Allah had to correct him. So
Yeah, but Islam, bro, it's listen. It's we call it sam'an wa ta'a. Listen and obey. I mean, we're not supposed to question. This is the whole thing. If we start questioning everything, we question the salat, we question zakat, we question the Quran, we question. Then we're gonna have fitna. I mean, chaos. I mean, and then to prevent that.
So here's what I'm saying. Why do you not question? Because
it's Sharia.
It's Sharia. Well, here's what I always say, right?
Yeah, it's Sharia. It's a law.
Right. Yeah. So here's my issue. Is that when people say that you shouldn't question, right? My point has always been, but hey, when I read the Quran, I see Allah answering the polytheists, the Nasara, and the Jews in the Quran. He having conversations about why them didn't believe. He having conversations with the people with Musa. So how come now nobody not going to question Allah when people been questioning Allah since before Muhammad came? And it literally Allah having a conversation with people there, right? So I give you a simple example. So let's just say there's a verse that we going back to in terms of whoever submits to Allah, right? Whether it be willingly, right, or unwillingly, right? I think you may know the verse because you kind of hinted it earlier when you said mu'min, right? So in that verse, Allah says, well, Allah talking to the Nasara, to the Christians, and he said, well, listen, if you all don't believe me, and you're all saying that you all don't believe in me, okay, well, already submitted to me in heaven and in earth are those who believe in me, right? And if you don't believe, well, then you all are losers. So I'm like, bro, if I'm Allah, why is I having an argument with some Christians who don't believe in me? It's like, if you don't believe, you don't believe. All right, cool. But why should I? So I'm saying, if you're a Muslim and you're saying that you don't question, I'm like, but bro, why is Allah having in the Quran these conversations where people are questioning that if he Allah or not?
Well, if you Christian and Jewish and non-Muslim believes in Islam and embrace Islam and just believe and testify that Muhammad is Allah's messenger, I think life will be easier. This planet will be a very happy planet.
Oh, really?
But the thing is, people are so difficult. That's why we have our brothers are doing and performing da'wah. I mean, da'wah at least, we're trying to get people this and that. We're just trying to send the message, but
right?
People are getting
but when
difficult.
you say
maybe people should just convert,
but yeah, but here's what I'm telling you, right? When you tell me that okay, we should just believe that Muhammad is Allah's messenger, or prophet. That's why I have the prompt up on the screen for Muslims to prove in the Torah and the Injil from Surah 7:157 that Muhammad is actually in these books. Nobody can prove that. It's within your own book that you guys believe that he a prophet. We don't believe that. Although the Quran makes the statement that, hey, that him in our books of the Jewish Torah and of the Christian Injil. So you know the verse, right? Surah 7:157.
Those of them the unlettered prophet, من تبعون الرسول, the unlettered means al-ummi, whom they find written. Yes, I know. Yeah. But you know what Allah cursed, for example, the Jewish, because they used to be Allah's people. It's in the Quran. They used to be Allah's chosen people. It's because they keep questioning everything. Because it's known, it's called al-mujahada. It's written in the Quran because they keep questioning. And they always keep asking Allah for miracle. But when Muhammad came, Muslim did not ask him for too many miracles. I mean, the Quran itself is a miracle. I mean,
But they asked
it's
Muhammad,
it's the final.
right? But they asked Muhammad to prove that he could do miracles, and that's what he said. He said Allah stopped sending miracles long ago, so they ain't no miracles with Muhammad.
Yes.
Although some Muslims
Yeah.
tell me that Allah split the moon, that Muhammad split the moon, I'm like, bro, listen, bro, come on, bro, what we doing?
It's true, actually, because NASA has proven it, and there's
Allah split the moon. Muhammad split the moon.
Yeah.
You really believe that, bro?
With the will of Allah, there's actually proven. There's actually a picture of it in the. If you Google, NASA actually has found
a picture that the moon split.
Yeah, the moon actually split in half. It is actually. It's not actually. The moon is actually divided in two, and they found the crater is that shows that the moon is actually two parts. There's two, but
two
just
parts?
because
because the moon got
NASA
some
has
craters,
to hide it.
NASA will. Why would NASA hide, bro? Why would NASA hide the craters on the moon?
Because if they show that the moon is split in half, I mean, it will probably sway people's opinion, and a lot of people will convert to Islam. And sometimes the enemies of Islam, they're trying to prevent.
So the people at NASA,
and that's why
the people at NASA, the enemy of Islam.
No, not that. See, they could be people. They could be infiltrated by enemy of Islam. It could be infiltrated.
They like Mossad. They like Mossad agents or something. Like
yeah, it could be. It could be. Yeah, it could be Mossad, CIA, or something, or maybe.
You don't find that song like you don't find that song like a conspiracy theory.
No. There's no conspiracy theory.
All right, let me ask you this. Why I ask you if it's not a conspiracy theory, right? So in Surah Al-Isra, right? When it just say the moon cleft. I don't know what that mean, if it means split or if it was just a solar eclipse, right? But let's just say for the want of the understanding of the word that it's the moon split, right? Now the rest of that information that you got it from the Hadith, not from the Quran, right? Okay, when at the bottom of that Hadith that you read, what did it say? At the end of the Hadith. The end of the Hadith. So yes, I'll give you. At the end of the Hadith, it says that Muhammad woke up. So I don't think that is an actual occurrence. You got to go to all of this conspiracy theory. In the Hadith, literally said that Allah woke up, right? Sorry, that Muhammad woke up from sleep. That he never left Mecca. He never went on no night journey. In the Hadith. In fact, Aisha, in her narration said, hey, the Prophet never left. He went in spirit. It was a dream. In fact, there's another authentic hadith by another guy who said, hey, Muhammad was in my house sleeping. I know that for sure. He woke up early the next morning. He didn't go nowhere.
Well, because he was ahead of his time. One day in the Quran, it says one day for Allah is 1,000 years what actually you are counting. Then I'm sure Allah performed the miracle.
Right, but here was the problem, right? Here was the problem. I think it's Abu Bakr. Abu Bakr was the one when Muhammad get up because they asked him for a miracle, right? And he couldn't produce a miracle. And then he came the next morning and said, you know what? I went to the mosque in the mosque in Jerusalem. Right? It's funny, right? That mosque didn't exist until maybe about 50 years later when Abdul Malik built the mosque. So how come Muhammad and Jibril go to a mosque that didn't exist?
We have proof. The proof is we pray 5 times a day.
No, here's what I'm asking. Prayers, in the Hadith, right? It literally names the mosque, right? Literally names the mosque. And it calls it calls the mosque by the name. And everybody say, yeah, that's the mosque on top of the mountain in Jerusalem, right? But the mosque was built by Abdul Malik like 50, 60 years later when he became caliph. So I'm saying, I know for sure it's a dream. Even his own wife says it's a dream, right? In fact, I'll tell you what.
It's a miracle.
No, I'll tell you why we know it's a dream. Because the mere fact that when he told some of the Qurayshi about the incident, they say, but wait, we take a month to go to Jerusalem from here, go through the desert, right? How it is Muhammad gonna do that in a night? And then he go to what's his name? Abu Bakr. And there's some other companion say, "Oh, Muhammad, tell us what you saw." And he saw stuff, and one guy said, "Yeah. I've been to Jerusalem," and he said, "Yes, that the dream correct, right?" But later on, everybody say, "No, Muhammad never went nowhere. It was a dream." So I don't know the
these are the
conspiracy.
enemy. These are the
That's in your book,
enemy
bro.
of Islam.
No, listen.
Yeah.
Well, then Ibn
They
Ishaq.
don't want us.
No, wait. That's no. Then Ibn Ishaq gotta be a Mossad agent because in him book, that's what it states. I'm not telling you something that I'm
Jewish
making
existed at that time.
No, I tell you,
Jewish
if I'm not
existed
mistaken,
at that time.
no. Here's what I'm saying. This is your scholar. You know Ibn Ishaq, right? Ibn Ishaq. I can't roll.
Yeah.
I can't get the guttural, right? In his book, if I'm not mistaken, right? In his book, if I'm not mistaken, on page 183, it will be page 183, I believe it is, that talks about the night of Israel. In fact, you find the very story there, and you find the quotes from Aisha, and you find the quotes from the other companion that say it was a dream. But some people just believe it because the Qurayshi question and say, "Hey, we don't believe this guy." And it literally says that after that, some of the Muslims walked away from him because they say, "This is not real. He lying." And I'm not telling you stuff that I'm making up. I'm literally telling you, if you go to the book, it literally tells me that. That's when I read the history. So I ain't trying to pull no wool over here. If I misquoted the page, I think it's either from 183 or 234, 235, but I could be mistaken. I think 235 is about the Abyssinians when they went to Abyssinia, but I'm almost sure it's like 180 something somewhere there about. I'm subject to correction. I'm an old guy. Sometimes I can forget the page numbers, but I'm not even looking at notes. I'm just calling from memory. So I'm telling you that no way is that nobody at NASA is no Mossad agent going to be covering up the crater on the moon that say, look, listen, there's some craters there's a place in California, right? They call it the Grand Canyon. There's some big craters there. Some people can see the earth split too. I don't know. So, right?
Yeah, but I think Mr. Boulos wants to speak. I just want to say
no,
that,
Boulos my buddy. Boulos is my buddy, bro. So we good. He my part.
Okay.
He my part. But if you need to drop, I'll let you go. All right.
No problem.
Okay.
But it's been a good conversation, man.
All right, bro.
I can hang here. I can hang with you. I mean, yeah.
No,
Until,
listen, here's what I tell people. I can listen to anybody, and if you come and you chill and we talk, you give me milk and cookies, you get milk and cookies. If you give me Tabasco sauce, trust me, I would light you up. But we good, all right? So I'll add you mostly, all right? So have a good one, brother.
All right.
Okay then.
Prima Scriptura. Okay, man. Cool, man.
Okay then, nice. Man, listen, Bulus, you Mossad agent, bro. How you doing, brother? Listen, these Muslims can't make this stuff up, man. Allah gonna split the moon and make people at NASA hide the photographs. You can't make this up. I got some other Muslims who wanted to come up, but